everybody. Thank you for coming this morning to our first weather briefing. I'm Di Pearson, the Media Director for the Rolex in Hobart. I'd like to introduce you to Andrew Trelaw from the Bureau of Meteorology, Tom Addis, the Navigator from Wything, 11, Stan Honey, the Navigator from Perpetual LOYAL, Michael Bellingham, the Navigator for Southern Excellence 2, Adrian Carlin, Navigator on the Royal Hughes 55 Wedgetail, and Brett Young, the Navigator on the Veneto 45 Shining Sea. So we'll start with you, Andrew, if you can tell us a bit about what we can expect for this Rolex in Hobart Yacht race weather.
Okay, thanks very much. We're still quite a few days out from the race. So
just pull it closer.
How's that? Okay, look, we're still quite a few days out from the start of the race. So there's the most likely scenario that we're looking at the moment is a high pressure system out over the southern Tasman Sea, a weak front crossing Tasmania, this is at the start of the race, and a low pressure trough dipping down to the north of Sydney over the Hunter region. What's that showing us at the moment is that we'd have east to northeasterly winds around race start, moderate strength, perhaps 10 to 15 knots or so. As the boats start making their way down the New South Wales coast on the Thursday, the winds will start to strengthen the further south they go. And we expect on the Friday that the winds will freshen further and probably get to 25, perhaps even 30 knots or so from the north to northeast as we get towards Gaybo Island later on the Friday. The first significant wind change we're expecting to come through is overnight from Friday into Saturday, so probably very early on Saturday morning. That'll take the winds around to the west in the Bass Strait area, and initially probably only moderate to fresh strength, but as Saturday builds and wears on, we're going to see those winds from the west start to pick up to quite good strength, probably up around 25 knots or so into later on Saturday, right through Bass Strait. For boats that are still on the New South Wales coast on Saturday, that wind change will come through as more of a southerly and push up the coast and get into Sydney later on the Saturday. Once we get down to the Tasmanian coastline, because we have a westerly wind blowing through the Saturday and into the Sunday down in that region, there'll be some sheltering of wind as they're moving down the coast there. That's about as far ahead as our guidance is taking us at the moment, but just in summary, it's looking like northeasterlies at the start, the northeasterlies building as the boats move their way down the New South Wales coast, a westerly change moving through Friday night into Saturday, and those westerlies building in strength as we get through Saturday. So that's about where we stand at the moment, but we leave it there for the weather.
Wow. So pretty much what that says is favouring the big boats. Obviously it's off the breeze. Fantastic. So Tom, what does it mean for you guys on the bigger boats, for you and Stan?
Yeah, it's looking encouraging for the big boats. The big boats these days are fast enough to get there through to Tasman Island pretty much unscathed if you happen to start the race at the right time. And that's just luck, but yeah, it's looking encouraging so far.
And Stan, nice forecast for you guys.
Well, there's a little bit of courses for courses this year. Our two boats are quite a bit different. It looks like the course right now may suit Wild Oats a little bit better than it does us. We're looking for conditions that are more demanding of stability, which is what we have lots of. So we're pulling what strings we know how to pull to try to get that westerly change to come through more quickly and more vigorously. So if anybody can help, please do.
So it's going to be exciting then.
Oh, it'll be, well, I hope it's exciting.
And Michael, you're on a Volvo, one of the older model Volvos.
We're on an older style Volvo, and I think we'd like to see a bit of that westerly change as well. I think the boat would be well suited to that. But I think certainly the first day, downhill and stuff, there's a bit of swell and surfing conditions that would be enjoyable for the middle of the fleet. And we're keeping a close eye on the boys out front there to see how far offshore they get, and we'll try and keep in touch with them. That would be our aim, for sure.
So Adrian, you're going on a boat that actually does a tiny bit of off the breeze work, if my memory serves me correctly, but will there be enough for you?
Well, there's still a bit of uncertainty in the forecast, particularly at the end there. So one of the tricky things for us, and particularly the smaller boats, will be if we are on the Tassie coast when those westerlies come through, it can get very messy there, particularly in the early morning. And so that's something that we'll just have to watch very carefully. And if it does come a little bit earlier and much stronger, and when the big boats are in, well then the writing's always on the wall for that, and that certainly happened last year when we won overall. So there's still a lot of uncertainty to go. So it's good. It's good in that I think that it's kind of wide open really.
So Brett, for you on a Beneteau 45, I mean again they like the off the breeze, but are you hoping that things as we get closer to the day that the weather might be something a little bit different than what you're being told today?
Certainly, I mean, like, yes, we like off the breeze, but right behind us, so the conditions that we're looking at favour the bigger boats, but I think in a sense it might just bring sort of the side down. So it's certainly looking like their race, and then it will just come down to how much we get from the west when it comes for us, but it's not our preferred moment, but as Evan said, it's chopping and changing. It's massive changes today already, like it's open up yesterday, so it's a long way out. So we'll just see. Let's hope.
For a smaller boat, really, what are your chances realistically, looking at the current weather synopsis, for an overall win?
Well, you always have a chance. So that's the great thing about sport. You think you've got it all worked out, and we all have the best computers and models and so on, but in past times, when the small boats have won, it's been a bit out of the blue because just the way things are worked out with currents, etc. We probably don't have as much advantage this time with the current with our this boat, but it's a very well performed boat. So rating wise, we're always with a chance. And so I think we're still running quite good for the boat.
Thank you. Okay, at this stage I'll open the floor to questions.
Tom, I guess two questions people always ask at this time of the year is, can you challenge your race record, and do you have any chance of, you think, of this forecast of winning overall?
Yeah, look, it's hard to say. I'm always reluctant to talk in terms of records and stuff like that. You just get there as soon as you can and see what happens. But yeah, first we've just got to beat these Loyal guys, and on paper the boats look quite similar. They're both 100-footers, but they're almost in opposite corners of the design box. We've got very different strengths and weaknesses to them. So yeah, just beat these guys and get there as soon as possible and see what happens. But
Stan was tending to suggest that the conditions, the initial forecast, might favour you guys a little bit more than Perpetual LOYAL. Do you agree?
yeah, I'd agree with that. But that's right now. Practice will always beat theory. So the forecast and reality might be different on the day. But yeah, if the current forecast stays, then yeah, it probably does suit us more than the Loyal, which is a higher stability boat than us. But yeah, we'll see. We've got to concentrate. I think both of us have to concentrate on sailing our own races because we are so different. We've got to make hay while it's good for us and hang on when it's not so good for us. And it's exactly the same for them.
Just on history, is it plausible in terms of the weather patterns that have seen the boats go really fast? I mean, everyone wants to get there fast, but everyone wants to know, is there potential? We're looking for a headline here. Is there any potential? Is it in the mix?
Look, if you take one particular forecast and just click your button on your computer, it beats the record, but it's a week out. So, but yeah, in theory, it's quite possible.
You just give me the headline, great. Just Stan, you've got something to chase.
So I mean, just in Big Breeze, going back to, I mean, apart from Perpetual LOYAL, apart from each other, obviously there are two other Supermaxis to take into consideration, not to mention a couple of the newer version Volvo 70s that don't mind a bit of fast running and reaching. And I guess too, looking at the conditions, boat breaking weather, like how much you take into consideration of how hard you push your boat when you're looking at a tracker and seeing your opposition there. I mean, do the other boats come into it for you, or are you guys just thinking along the lines of this very quick Perpetual LOYAL, and yeah, how far to go when, you know, seas are up and obviously potentially the breeze is quite strong in parts of the course. Like how do you know when to stop and start with pushing us?
Yeah, it's always a big factor for these bigger boats, knowing when you're racing and when you're cruising, and there are definitely times on these 100-footers where you can't be pushing at 100% because you're going to break the boat or break somebody else. But no, we've just got to sail our own race really. There are some pretty exciting smaller boats in the fleet. Bojes, the 80-footer, could be quite special downwind, but they've only just launched, so it's a bit of an unknown. But yeah, and I think if Loyal was a similar boat to us, we'd be more concentrating on the other boat and treating it more like a match race. But I think with us being so different, we've really got to have a strong sense of what we should be doing ourselves and using that, because their quickest way to Hobart is going to be slightly different to our quickest way to Hobart.
Well, Loyal is heavier than you guys, Tom. Ragamuffin and Wild Thing are still lighter boats. Do you see them as being in the mix this year?
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah. I think any boat from 70 foot onwards can be as fast as each other, really. You know, these Volvo boats and Bojes, the 80-footer, they'll have angles where they're quicker through the water than us. It's just got to net out that way by the finish.
Stan, talk about the crews and the chemistry of the crews and the Wild Oats are really quite tight, and you guys are still sort of coming together. How do you feel about that? Is it coming together really tight enough to beat this well? What's it about?
Well, there's a core group of folks that have sailed together on the boat, and as you know, at this level of the sport, we've sort of all sailed with each other in various combinations. But certainly, Wild Oats has a terrific crew and a terrific team and a long track record, and we've got a huge amount of respect for that.
How do you feel like you guys are coming together? Sorry, how do you feel like you guys are coming together specifically for work?
As I understand, things have been coming together well. I just got here, so I haven't sailed on the boat since it was in its speedboat configuration. I was the original navigator of the boat when it was fitted out, and I did the first Bermuda races and transatlantics and so forth. But I haven't sailed on the boat for a few years now.
30 knots, I mean, to a mud sailor, that would be plenty. You're looking for a little more gas?
We would benefit from conditions where stability is an advantage, because that's what we've got quite a bit of. And so, windy running, it may be that we could hang on, because you do need stability even running when it's windy. But ideally what we'd like is heavy weather beating and heavy weather close reaching and reaching, where stability makes a big difference, because we're very long on stability.
And the sail, I mean, we were a week or so ago, and you blew out a sail. Has that arrived? Have you got a sail?
As I understand, there's a replacement that is being built and is on its way. But it's not here yet.
So it's going to be tight?
Yes.
Have you got an ETA at all?
Say again?
Have you got an ETA at all?
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhat shy of 2 days, but like Tom said, it's from this point it's really hard to call whether there'll be a record in the next.
So a couple of years back, Stan, you guys did the unthinkable and beat Wild Oats XI in an absolute thriller. Do you think it could come down to that again with them or with one of the other yachts?
Well, that's I think what we all love about sailing is that there is that the challenge of varying conditions and so forth, and so yeah, I think it can always come down to an exciting race.
We believe you're down here sailing master Michael Coxon, who apparently is in hospital. Has he been replaced on the boat, and what does it mean to you to lose Coco?
It's a huge setback to lose a guy like Kako, and that's something that it was very disappointing, and it's frankly one of the reasons that I was most interested in sailing on Loyal both last time and this time, was I really enjoy sailing Makako. So I think we're all disappointed. Anthony made the decision, which I think is the right decision, to take the team we've got and run with it. And so I think we've added Dingo to fill that extra slot. But yeah, I think we're all looking forward to racing with the team we've got.
Michael, Adrian and Brett, look, it does, it seems to come down to it in late anyway, a two-horse race. With the weather today, is there potential, real potential, amongst you guys, of causing a major upset?
I think there is for the middle of the fleet, and the reason I think that is that I think on race day the breeze might not be as strong when we actually start. It might take a long time for it to build, which means that slows the race down a bit, and if the race gets slowed down a bit, then mid-sized and smaller boats have an opportunity to beat the bigger boats on handicap. And that is really one of the possibilities or the options that's playing out at the moment. So yeah, we haven't given up hope yet.
Tom, how's that new mast looking now?
It looks beautiful, big and black. But no, it's all stable. We've had a couple of uneventful days with it, which are good, which is good. No, happy to go. We're definitely using them.
Brett, within your specific division, you've got very much a wholesome boat, good to windward. Your division also features a lot of real downwind flies, like good stuff. So in that little battle, so how are you reading that?
I mean, we love the 40s, 25s, we love the real people's division. Like it's tough, there's a lot of boats that just all walks of life in that range. And yeah, the spars and things, I mean, you guys are just so deserving of the win for that boat and how many Hobarts he's done. But we're not going to let him do that. I mean, we've got a great team on board and it's a great boat. I mean, we've brought together, I mean, South Australia's really lucky, we've won 3 Hobarts in the last 12 years or something. It's not bad with the number of entries that we have. The owners bought this boat, it's basically won everything but the Hobart. The better toes are always there annoying the big guys. We enjoy that. And it's good that, so obviously the longer the race takes, the better it is for us. So the way that things are breaking up and changing, it doesn't take an awful lot to suddenly change from a record, another record year. And that's always is with the day one. As things change and go along, I mean, it's a really good performing boat, and we've got a lot of the previous Hobart winners on board, so we've really changed the systems on that boat to more of an offshore configuration with staff land and setup, because it was sort of always when it's women board type races. So with limited, budget and so on, I would think we've done a great job. We've got a really good team, and we don't really have any weak points, so we might actually surprise other people in a range of something that's not normal seen. But to win our own division, we love winning the Hobart, but the names and boats are in there, so we'll start with that, and we'll see how it goes to you guys build.
So I'm guessing your plan would be to hang on to the woods bars on that day one, stay close enough, and hope that the sunlight comes through earlier.
Yeah, they're not going to like, and that's the thing, these other flies that they really don't like that wind stuff, so the good thing with the better toes is they love on the nose, they love the breeze behind. I mean, there are other heavier boats that love them more when they run, same sort of things, but I think we just have a better all-round placement for us. So yeah, we'll be pushing it hard. The wardrobe allows us to do that. We've got a few extra sails in there that we can afford to lose a couple. So, well, the owner doesn't agree with that. So we'll be pushing it. And the boat handles it. It's had a lot of fun. We've done a lot of work on it to get it to that level. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
And Adrian, for you, looking down the barrel of the 22nd Hobart, what competition will you be looking at around you, and how hard, like will you have to think very differently, having been on a big boat for so long in this race and now adapting to a smaller yacht? Do you think differently in your...
Oh, definitely. Normally I didn't think past lunchtime 28, and now you've got to piece a much longer race together. I mean, the big boats, it's a pretty exciting forecast for them if it does come together, because it's not like last year when we got there right to the light and then it turned southerly and pushed us right in. So there's great conditions for the big boats, and thinking past that now, you've got to piece together a longer race, and one of the big things in this race is managing the transition zones and learning how to set yourself up for the next set of conditions that are coming through. And so for us it looks, a messy sort of a start perhaps, strengthening nor'easters, and then we have to set ourselves up to deal with this new westerly that comes across. And one of the developments that has got across the whole fleet has been light air performance. And managing, the Tasmanian coast, there's lots of bumps in the road down there, and it's I think if you ask anyone in this race, what is the really tricky part, it's where you set yourself up in relation to the shore and managing that whole approach. So we've got a lot more time to think about it this year, so we'll be out there, we're looking sometime, 29th, 30th, and we've got a very strong lot of competition in 50s and 60s with all the new boats and the well-sailed boats that are all well managed now and got a lot of miles under their belt. And one thing in this race now with the tracker and to see where everybody is every 10 minutes, you've got to be, you've got to let that distract you. And Tom mentioned about sailing your own race, and that's one of the things in this race is to weigh up how much notice you take of what your competitors are doing as opposed to having confidence in your own decisions. And this race is going to be just like everyone we agonise over where to go, what to do, and why are they doing that is always the question that's asked. So yeah, it should be a good one.
Would you agree that for the first time in a long time it's almost impossible to pick race favourites for the overall win of the Rolex Sydney Hobart?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys sitting here, if it sets up for them within a couple of hours, then they've got it. And there's so much competition. I mean, it's 95 boats in this fleet, and one thing in this race, you just never give up, because you've always got a chance. If you're well prepared.
The Volvo 70s and Bogas, they really are in this, don't you think, in this forecast?
And Ishiba.
Yes. They really are in the mix. But for line on us too, I mean, those V70s are really good crack.
Yeah, design world's really come on in the last 20 years. It used to just be borderline length, a longer boat beat a smaller boat, but it's not the case anymore. With new materials, boats are so much lighter, and you can get 50, 60 footers going as quick as 100 footers at certain angles. You can't break the laws of physics all the way around the clock, but there'll be times when they're every bit as fast as us, and if they get long enough in those good conditions for them, then they'll be there for sure.
So Stan, for you arriving a bit late while everybody else is sort of almost locals and used to race, arriving late to get on a boat that's been somewhat modified since you last sailed it, and do you feel like you're on the back foot there, or do you just slot in like you do in every other race that you do?
Well, I've been, working for a number of days, in the weather and stuff before coming. But yeah, I think it's it's always a challenge to take a fairly new boat and take it into a Hobart straight away. And while Loyal isn't a new boat in a lot of senses, it is a new boat in many other senses.